Hello everyone, and welcome to my very first ever Flosstube. My name is Lauren, aka StitchedUpbyLauren on Etsy and Instagram. I will have links to everything that I talk about in this video in the description, so feel free to take a look down there. This video today will be about all of my completed projects, my current whips, and any projects that I'm looking forward to doing in the future. I think I'll save all of my needle-minder stash and everything like that for my next video, because I have a feeling this one's going to be quite long. So yeah, a little bit about me. I live in the UK and I started my Etsy shop selling digital patterns early this year. It's been going quite well, and I've just recently delved into kits, which I will show you a bit later. So actually the first completed projects will all just be little pictures up here because the majority of them have been gifted. So the first three, I can't remember, they must have been about 2013 I think. So they are a Charmander, a Squirtle, and I don't know if any of you remember the PlayStation game Buster Move, but it's the little dragon from that called Bub. So I created these for my sister and my two cousins. One year at Christmas when I was unemployed and I had no money to buy gifts, so I created little cross-stitch patterns for them that I knew they really liked, so their favourite Pokemons or their favourite little characters. As far as I remember, I didn't find these patterns online. I think I drew them out myself, and then I went to a little craft shop in my area and I found the threads and matched the colours as best as I could. They all absolutely love these presents and still have them, so that makes me very happy. But yeah, I think that's when I first started realising that I loved to cross stitch and I really liked to make the patterns for myself. Even though these weren't my own characters, they weren't my own artwork, it was a nice way to start and get the process going. So yeah, the next one, I've got all my notes here, that's why I keep looking over here. My next pattern was also gifted, so this was a thumper pattern that I found on Amazon. Actually, it was being sold as an ebook, which was a strange way to do it, but it kind of worked. And I gave this again to my cousin Donna. Another year where I was unemployed and had no money to actually buy gifts. I think I handmade gifts for Gemma, my other cousin, and my sister Leah at the time. I can't actually remember what I got my sister, but I remember making a little, the rose from Beauty and the Beast, and I got some glass paints and painted the rose on and put some lights in a little glass so it lit up, and it was quite pretty. But yeah, this one was meant to be a Christmas gift for Donna, but it took me so long to stitch that she actually got it in March, just before her birthday, so it took a very long time to stitch. But when I think back, I realised that I did it on my Kindle and there was no way to mark my progress, and there was no way to see all of the pages at once. There was no way to print it out. So I was every stitch I made, I was counting the rows and counting the columns to make sure I was in the right place. So it was no wonder it took me so long. Yeah, but the next project, actually I think the thumper one was probably from about 2014 as well, because it was a few years where I was unemployed, so yeah. But after that I had a bit of a break from cross stitching. I'm not really sure why, and I feel like there may have been a few other projects in the middle, but I can't actually remember what they are, and I have no pictures to prove that they were ever made. But the next one is one that I did for my boyfriend. So I don't know if anyone has heard of the show Rick and Morty, but there is an episode where Rick turns himself into a pickle. It's a bit weird, but it is a really good show. It's not for kids, I will say that. Don't let your kids watch it. So I created this pattern again for myself. I found the picture on Google, and I think I may have put it into Photoshop and created grid lines and made it that way. So it wasn't a very high-tech pattern making at this point. So I think I finished this one in 2019. This one, all of the patterns that are in my own shop, I like them to be my own artwork. So you won't find anything that's someone else's artwork or copyrighted or trademarked, mostly because I'm too scared to put them on there. I don't know how so many people get away with doing that, but it makes me a bit nervous. So but if anyone would like this pattern or any of the patterns that I've got that I have made that are copyrighted, I'm happy to give them out for free. So yeah, just let me know. Yeah, as you can see, this is still, it needs to be washed. It's still got the hoop marks, and we still need to frame this one. I'm not entirely sure why we haven't got around to framing this one yet, but yeah, this is the first cross stitch that I did for my boyfriend. The next one is framed, but it needs reframing because it doesn't fit. This again is from the show Rick and Morty. I'm trying to get rid of the glare of the light. So it's a head, a floating head in space, called Armageddon, and the little writing, I don't know if you can see it very well, it says, "Show me what you got." This was another one that I did for my boyfriend. I can't remember when I finished this one. Maybe it was, again, 2019. It was my first time using black Ada as well. And again, I put this one together, I think, on Photoshop, so it wasn't a very high-tech pattern. It had, for some reason, I made it very difficult and put lots of 3/4 stitches in. I think I have tidied this one up and made it ready for a free pattern for anyone who would like it. And I've taken out all of the 3/4 stitches, and except for in the eyes, I think I've made the eyes 3/4 stitches so they look rounder. But yeah, this is another one that I made for my boyfriend. It sits on the TV unit, which I think is quite appropriate considering we watch a lot of Rick and Morty there. So yeah. And then the next one I don't have. It was a gift for my sister, so I'll put it up here. It's I think I did this for her birthday. I want to say I did it for her in 2020, but everything's kind of blurring the last few years. And yeah, it's a nice little friends pattern. Although I did enjoy doing this one, it was very repetitive. The colours, there was no colour changes until I got to the umbrellas, and it took a lot longer than it should have done. This one, I think, was a pattern that was found or put together on Microsoft Excel. So again, it wasn't a very easy pattern to follow. I definitely mucked up at one point, and I always have this problem of cutting my fabric too short. So that's too small, I mean. So that's something that I am working on. Although I know the instructions always say to give a good few inches either side and make the fabric bigger. I've just never done this. And even with the thumper pattern that I've already shown, the feet, I never managed to get the feet in, so the pattern's not actually finished. So yeah, I am working on that. But yeah, this is in my sister's bedroom now. She's framed it, and she's very happy with it. The next one, I think, this is a pattern from my shop, because the majority of my patterns haven't been stitched yet, and it's some of them are really big and I am not that quick at stitching, but I like to have pictures of the actual stitch pattern because then you can see the colours properly, and I'm slowly working my way through the majority of them. It's just taking time, but I do think that the pictures that are on there are mostly a good representation of what the final pattern will look like. But again, I am slowly trying to work my way through them all. And so this is one of the patterns in my shop. It's a little unicorn. There are two other versions of this. There is a Halloween unicorn that has a little pumpkin and a little witch's hat. And there is a Christmas one, which has a Santa's hat and a few snowflakes. I stitched this on some Ada from Claire Brown Cross Stitch's shop. I love all of her fabrics. I could spend a lot of money in her shop. And this one I think is called Petrol Swell Ada. It's 16 count, and it's a nice little pattern. I think this could work very well in a card for someone, or you could just frame it like I have in a nice little frame. I did enjoy stitching this one. It was a nice small pattern. It was very quick to stitch, and I enjoyed stitching this between a few of my bigger patterns to kind of break it up and to have a bit of an achievement with a finish. So yeah, I really love this pattern, and I am planning on stitching the Halloween version very soon, obviously because it's now October, and it would be nice to have an actual picture of the Halloween pattern. So yeah, that's that one. And then next is some little Christmas robins. I'm not sure if you can see these very well. My lighting isn't very good, sorry about that. This was one of the first patterns that ever went into my shop. I have a video on my YouTube channel already, how to turn this into a little bauble. As you can see, my sewing skills are not great. It's meant to be a circle, but it's very lumpy. And on the back I've put some little blue star fabric, which I think I got from Hobbycraft. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to putting this on my tree this year. I think this was stitched on probably 28 count even weave, and I did 2/1, so it's a very it's quite bulky, and it did get quite difficult at some points, but I really love the effect that it's had. And again, this is a very small pattern. It was very quick to stitch, and I really love to stitch it. So yeah, I'll hang that on my tree. The next pattern is not from my shop. This is a StitchedUpbyLauren pattern, which I'm sure you've probably seen all over the place because StitchedUpbyLauren patterns are amazing. It's a Lord of the Rings quote: "Not all those who wander are lost." I'm obsessed with Lord of the Rings. All of the pictures on my wall here are Lord of the Rings related, and I think this pattern, it took me quite a while to stitch. It was quite all over the place, if that makes sense. There were a few colours that there were only a few stitches. I think I took out a few little elements because it's just not the way I like to stitch, but I still love the overall result. And I still love all of StitchedUpbyLauren's patterns. There are so many that I want. But yeah, I really love this. And this, I found this frame, I think, in Dunelm. The fabric is the same as the one I used for the robin, except I stitched 2/2 on this one. And yeah, this hangs in my hallway, and I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed with Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. I haven't got a Harry Potter pattern yet, but I've got my eye on a few Hogwarts Castle ones. The next pattern is from my shop again. I'm sorry. This is what I mean. I usually have two whips on the go. One is a pattern from my shop, and one is a whip that I really want to work on, a pattern that I really love, because I still love stitching things for myself. And although I like every pattern in my shop, I don't necessarily want to keep them all. Some of them will be gifted, and so I like to work on two at the same time, just so I'm not completely always working on patterns from my own shop. So this one is called Lorcan the Wolf. This one took me a very long time to stitch, though I was working on multiple projects at the same time. So I think I had about 3 or 4 different finishes at the same time as working on this pattern. I did enjoy it. I did love seeing everything come together. And as I think you can see on the fabric, it's actually clouds, a blue sky with clouds. And this is also from Claire Brown's cross stitch shop. Again, I'll link everything below. But yeah, I need to get this one framed. It's a bit of an odd shape, so I haven't yet found a frame that fits it. And I'm quite a fan of framing things for myself. I wouldn't really know where to get things professionally framed in the UK. I don't think it's as much of a thing over here. But yeah, I really want to get this framed and hung somewhere in my house. I think I'd like to one day create like a cross stitch wall with all my patterns framed and everything on there, create a little feature. Maybe I can have that in the background for future videos. And my final finish is this little one. Again, this is from my shop. This is one of the kits that I've recently introduced. My friend Sarah, she messaged me and said that she was looking for something crafty to send to people for birthdays and Christmas, that was positive and it was good for people's well-being and their mental health. So I've created positive affirmations kits. There are 6 different patterns to choose from though. And when I say that, I mean the writing in the middle will change. So I am beautiful, I am enough, I am worthy, I can and I will, I can be anything, and there's one more and I can't remember what it is. It's in my shop, so if you're looking for something to gift to people or something you just want to work on for yourself, they fit perfectly into a little 5-inch hoop. The hoop is not included in the kit, and I actually really love this, and I'm so grateful for Sarah for asking for these, because this was a really easy pattern to work on. I will say that it is mine, but believe me, it was. And again, I really want to display this somewhere in my house once I've got a few patterns, and I'll make a nice little display of them all. But yes, they are. I do ship worldwide with these, and yeah, go check them out. So that is all of my finished projects, except for any that I've forgotten, because I probably have forgotten many. So this one is the oldest whip that I have. It is currently still in its scroll frame because I hate moving it out of it. So as you can see, it's Winnie the Pooh on a little balloon. All of these little blank patches here are meant to be bumblebees, and even further down there will be leaves and trees. I don't get bored of this pattern, but it takes time, and when I have other projects that I really want to work on, this one always gets put to the side. So I think I probably first started working on this pattern in 2017, even before then. And when I moved here with my boyfriend, I picked it up again, and then obviously he asked me to make Pickle Rick and Armageddon, and this one just got put away. So yeah, I've made good progress over the last few years, and I'm almost finished. So I would like to have this one finished completely by the end of October, because it's just it's getting a bit much, and I think I got a bit disenchanted with it again when I was stitching in the clouds, because they just took so long to do. But now the clouds are finished, I just need to start working on the bumblebees, and put the green in and do the back stitching, and then it will be finished. And I was planning on turning it into a cushion, but it's a bit of an odd shape. It's taller than it is wide, so I'm still not sure. I might just frame it and then maybe give it away. Although I love this pattern, I think I've got to a point where I no longer like looking at it, but maybe if I put it away for a little while after it's finished, it'll be fine. But yeah, this scroll frame is from Lakeside Needlecraft, and I do love it, but I have asked my boyfriend to make the legs longer, because I like it to be a bit longer. I probably need a bigger one at some point, but this will do for now. Okay, my second whip, because I like to work on 2. That was obviously the one that's not in my shop, and then there's this one. Just take these away. So I have a range of Once Upon a Time fairy tale patterns. So Once Upon a Time will be filled in over here, and obviously this one is Aladdin, and they're all heart shaped, and they all have the corner Once Upon a Time is all the same, but the colours and the element inside all changes. These are the closest patterns to anything Disney that you will find in my shop, because I also love Disney, but I can't copy the Disney the graphics. So I adapt them and draw them out by hand on graph paper first, and then I put them on my pattern maker. And I haven't been working on this one for that long. It's been a really quite quick stitch, which is always good. And again, I would like to have this one finished by the end of the month, because I have many projects lined up that I would love to start, some from my shop, some not. And yeah, the speed that I'm going through with this one, I think it will be finished quite quickly. So I am looking forward to seeing it finished with all the back stitching in. And maybe I have a Rapunzel one, a Rapunzel kind of pattern with a tower, that I absolutely love, and I really want to do this one, but I need to finish this first, because if I keep starting them I will never finish anything. So I think for this one I'm probably going to turn it into a really small cushion and maybe put some tassels on the corners, and it's probably going to be sent to my sister, because although I love Aladdin, she loves it more. So I think she'll enjoy this one. And as you can see from here, I have given myself enough room, enough fabric, so I have started doing things properly. Yeah, but yeah, I only have 2 whips on the go at once, like I said earlier. If I have too many, I just won't finish anything. I will just keep starting them, and I will never finish. So they're my whips. I'm only going to talk about the patterns that I own, which isn't many, because I like to I like to keep as few as possible, and then on Etsy I'll favourite my patterns and then buy them when I need them. Again, because if I have the temptation of them being there, I will start them. So I had this one. It's a nice little fox cushion that my mum got me for Christmas. I think you can see that. So yeah, she got this for me for Christmas last year, and I think I was a bit daunted by it, because it's probably one of the most complicated patterns that I've ever had, and I think I wanted to become a bit more confident with my stitching before I started on it. It's also on even weave, and I'd never worked on that before until this year, maybe last year. So I think after I finished Winnie the Pooh, this will be the pattern that I start next. Although I do have a Dimensions Christmas stocking on the way, which I bought from 123 Stitch, and it's coming from America, so it's taken a lot longer than, well, it's not a lot longer, it's coming from America, so it's taking its time to get here, which is fine. I've been stalking my post box every day, hoping that it will be here, and I think it's going to be arriving within the next few days. So yeah, I'll put a picture of the one that I've got up here, excuse me. And yeah, I'm really excited to start that one too. So I may have to break my 2 whip rule and start the fox and the stocking, and then work on another one of my patterns from my shop at the time, because I really have to start that stocking. I love it so much. So yeah, they're 2 of them. And the third one that I have purchased already, because like I said, I'm obsessed with Lord of the Rings. It's a Hobbit hole. And the problem I have with this pattern, and if you have your opinions, please let me know in the comments, is that I didn't realise when I bought this that this pattern had been stolen, as in the seller of the shop had just taken this picture from Google and turned it into a pattern without permission from the original artist. Their shop has now been closed because I think Etsy have found out what they've been doing, but I'm now in 2 minds of whether to actually stitch this pattern or not, because I know that it hasn't been obtained legally, and it didn't cost that much, so it's not a major deal if I have to just, you know, throw it away. But yeah, what were your opinions on doing this? Because I do love the pattern, but I'm sure that I can find something else out there that is, you know, legal, and something that I will love to stitch just as much. So yeah, just let me know what you think, but I won't be starting that one anyway, because like I said, I've got the fox and the stocking, so I'm sure I can probably find another Lord of the Rings inspired patterns somewhere. Yeah, I have so many patterns that I love. I see them all on my Instagram feed. Um, I really want to stitch so many patterns, but I need to, like I said, I need to stop buying them. Otherwise, I will just have too many. I'll never be able to do them. I've never really worked on a big full coverage before. I have got one that will be coming into my Etsy shop soon. It's a big waterfall, kind of fantasy colours, purples and blues. It's taken me months to get ready because when I put it through my pattern maker, there were probably over 100 colours that it was unnecessary. When you've got a pattern that big with that many stitches, like 400 stitches wide or whatever it is, and you've got a colour that's got, you know, maybe 30 stitches within it, they needed to go and I needed to clean it up. So it's taken me months to get to that process, and it's probably going to take me a little while longer to put the pattern ready in PDF to make sure all the pages are in the right place. So I'm hoping that will be coming into my shop within the next few weeks. But yeah, I've got loads of patterns in my shop if you want to have a look, but you know, feel free not to if you want to just watch my Flosstube for my whip updates, which yeah, I'm hoping, like I said, to have finished both of my current whips and to have started at least the fox and probably the stocking when it arrives, and one other pattern from my shop. Oh, and the Halloween unicorn. Okay, I'm probably going to have a fair few updates for you when it comes around to November. So yeah, everything that I've spoken about is in the description below. I've linked to any shops their main landing page rather than the products themselves, just in case they become out of stock and the links become broken. But yeah, let me know what you think about this Flosstube, and I hope you all have good days. Thank you.